And I'm sorry, the lighting in here is awful. I'm trying to get situated. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen because I have some announcements and recognition to do with you guys. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Yeah, cool. Okay. So I'll make this really quick because I want to respect Mackenzie's time, and I know that you guys have busy lives as well, and it's late for some of you East Coasters. So I wanted to first go over a couple announcements and welcome you guys. So welcome to the Hustle and Heart team call. It is Monday, April 1st. I can't believe it's already April. That's insane. We're officially heading into quarter 2, which is also insane to think about. So first of all, obviously the new 21-day fix live real-time launched today, as well as ultimate portion fix for everyone. Hopefully you've already gotten your kits. If you haven't, go get that now. This weekend when I got home from the cruise, I really dove into the ultimate portion fix videos some more. And it is incredible. Like, there's so much value in there. It is insane, like absolutely insane. So go get that if you haven't already. And that gives you access to the 21-day fix workouts, the new ones. And we have a boot camp running specifically for ultimate portion fix with the 21-day fix workouts. So if you have anyone that is doing that program, or you are, then you're welcome to join the group and invite them. The group is posted in the team page. If you can't find it for some reason, let me know. But that's open to the entire downline. And that started today. And then we have Super Weekend coming up April 12th to the 14th. So I know I will be going to the one near Seattle in Tukwila, Washington. And Ilana is going to be our guest there, which is incredible. I'm super, super excited for that. But wherever you are, find a super weekend near you, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, and if you absolutely cannot get to one, then get on a virtual one. But do whatever you have to do to get there, because that is where you find out about all new products and programs and things coming out. Like, we have Vegan Recover coming out. That's how you hear about launches. That's how you just get like the first know of everything. And it's also, I know we're going to be launching to a new country, and I've heard that we're supposed to hear that where it is at Super Weekend. I don't know if that's for sure, but that would be really exciting. And it's just that community. You guys I've already gotten so many messages of all of you guys that had serious FOMO that you missed out on the cruise. So if you're having FOMO, like, you need to get to Super Weekend, because it's going to get you connected with everyone. It's going to revive you. It's going to light your soul on fire, and you get to work out with everyone. It's just incredible. So make sure you're there. Find a way. I don't care. I'm driving like 2.5, 3 hours to get there. Like, find a way and get there. Okay. And then Summit, obviously. So the flash sale ended March 31st, but they're doing a 1-day sale today only to get your ticket for $175. So if you haven't got your ticket and you're procrastinating, you need to get it today. You should have got it like 3 weeks ago, or like a long time ago. So get it today, because trust me, you're not going to want to miss Summit. And Rachel Hollis is speaking, so that alone is like a big enough reason to be there. But again, you're going to have serious FOMO if you're not there. And if you try to say like, oh, I'm going to go, but you're just not buying your ticket right now, you're not going to end up being there, and you're going to regret it. I promise, though, you're not going to regret finding a way to get there. You will regret not being there, though. So go get your ticket. Trust me. Okay. Next thing real quick is leadership. There will be a VIP diamond cocktail party at Summit. So we will have a team party, like a team dinner at Summit that's open for the entire team. But we will also have a VIP diamond cocktail party. So anyone that is an active diamond, when we go to Summit, you will be invited to a VIP cocktail party. and it'll be drinks on me. It'll be super fun and fancy and extra, so you want to be there. So you need to, if that's something you want to be at, get Diamond on your radar. Plus, then you get recognized at Summit, and that's like really cool and a big deal. And then we have the Diamond and Beyond Bet group coming. So this is the first time you guys are hearing about this, but I'm so excited about this. So me and like 5 other elite coaches are going to be running this Diamond Push group together. It's Diamond and Beyond. So whether you're pushing for Diamond, Star Diamond, 2-star, because you really want that income and recognition at Summit, whatever it is, it's going to start April 22nd to May 22nd. There will be a buy-in because otherwise no one does anything. So there will be a buy-in, but it won't be like a large amount. But keep this on your radar, and we will do a Diamond and 30 call before this. We will do an Emerald, push to Emerald and Diamond call before this so that you have the know of like what is going on. But put this dates down and make sure that if you're interested in this, you keep it on your radar, because this is something that's going to have so much value for you guys. Like, these are all some of my most favorite people in the entire coach world, and you get to hear from all of them. Okay, and then just wanted a quick shout out update of our leaderboard. And right now, I know this is not fully updated. Like, a couple of you said, hey, what the heck? I hit Success Club. Why am I not up there? But this is as much updated as my back office is right now. So in a few days, it'll be fully updated, and I'll update it. This was a slower month for us. Normally, we change a lot more lives than this, but April is our month. I just know it, and I feel it, and I feel like we built a lot of momentum in March, so it's going to pay off this month. All of you new coaches that came in and started putting in that work, maybe you didn't see the turnaround right away, but it takes 3 to 6 months to see the fruit of whatever work you're putting in. So just remember that. And whatever happened in March, whether it was your best month ever or your worst month ever, today is a new day, and everyone starts fresh at 0. I'm at 0. Mackenzie's at 0. Every single one of us are at 0. Whether you're an elite coach or a brand new coach, we all start at the same place every single month. So don't wait till the last minute to hit Success Club. Start today. Aim for Success Club by the 5th, 5 by the 5th, and 10 by the 10th. That's always your goal. If you're just a friendly reminder, if you're not hitting Success Club, you're a glorified discount coach. And I'm not saying this to be rude, but I'm just saying this to be honest, because every single one of you signed up. If you're on this call, you're a business builder. You signed up to make a profit. You didn't sign up to just be a discount coach, or you wouldn't be here tonight. So hitting Success Club has to be a non-negotiable if you're wanting to work your business. So that being said, like, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone that did hit Success Club last month and changed a lot of lives. Like, we still changed 50 lives last month, which is a big deal. So celebrate that, you guys, and take that into this month, and let's double it. Okay, so that's all I wanted to share, and then I just want to hand it over to Mackenzie. And if you want to just kind of like quick introduce yourself, then you can go ahead and get started, and we're so excited.
Hi. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me here. I don't know Cassidy well, but I'm thinking that I will get to know her a lot more and even better as the years go on, which I love that about coaching, because people will randomly pop up on your Instagram and be like, hey, and I'm like, hey. So I think it's so cool to really connect with people in your network and do everything that you can to find people in the network, learn from them, grow from them. Everyone, I guarantee you, has something to add value to your business with, but also that you could become friends with, because that's why we go to these events. We go to these events to see the people that we see in these little boxes, every, weekly or monthly or whatever it is. So events are really, really, really important. And I actually I didn't plan on talking about this, but I'll go with it. I actually went on a Success Club trip as a guest. I was just a very new coach at the time, and a girl on our team was like, do you want to come? And I was like, sure. So I wasn't super into the business yet. I'd just been a coach for a couple of months, and I was really just hitting Success Club at the time. And what seeing the community did for me was showed me Beachbody is no freaking joke. And it just really like empowered me to dream. Like I remember sitting on the boat in like 2016 and looking out at the ocean. I was like all by myself. I took like 20 to 30 minutes, like just to go over there by myself. And I just started like dreaming and like thinking about the life that I'm living now, like literally down to the guy that I'm dating. Because at the time I was dating a terrible guy and now I'm dating a great guy, and like just manifesting all those things because this platform is so much bigger than fitness workouts and shakes. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about that. But I don't want to talk too much about my story because it's just on my social, like if you go to my social media, you'll know it. And that's honestly a good thing. That's how it should be. So if you go to your social media right now and you're like, if I was a total stranger on my page, I would have no idea what my story is. Then that means you need to talk about your story more because it doesn't matter how many times you tell it, it's important and it matters at every single stage. But really, just to give you an idea, I started this business like right out of college. I was a bartender and I got a college degree, but I just stuck with bartending because I was going to make more money than if I would have gone out and got like a 9-to-5 with my degree. And I put this off for like a year. Okay. I was the worst challenger. I quit the 21 Day Fix like 5 times. I was super apprehensive about the business because I was just like, this just doesn't seem real. Like I grew up, my mom was a teacher and my dad worked for the government. So the last thing that was being talked about in my house was network marketing. Like that was just not normal. Like no insurance was attached to that. So therefore it was like voodoo. I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but it was just not something that made sense to me. So actually what sparked my interest in this business, and this is why I love speaking on calls. Yes, put your faces up. I want to see your faces. This is why I love speaking on calls. And this is why, yes, there's one. This is why calls are important because I was actually like visiting my friend who's now my coach, and I was like in the background in her living room when she was on a team call, and I was like listening without her knowing I was listening because I didn't want her to think I was interested, so she wouldn't think I wanted to join her because I was scared still. And I was like literally sitting back there like just kind of like had my ear open, and I heard these girls just like talking about really inspiring stuff and just talking about goals and talking about celebrating each other and mindset and empowerment and like growth and all these things. And there I was, it's just like, I would consider myself like a deadbeat bartender that was just like dying for any reason besides having to go to that stupid bar to get out of bed in the morning. You know, it was like, I don't think we realize we're missing passion and fulfillment and like empowerment until we realize it's out there and we could have it too. And that's just like a big part of what we do. Like, I don't feel like people understand there's another way until they're like, their ears are perked up a little bit and they're like, oh, okay. And that's what we do. And that's a huge reason why your social media calls like this, events, those things are such a big part of your business. But more than that, like you should be living and breathing. You know, these calls shouldn't just like get you fired up and then go back to deadbeat, right? These calls, your personal development, your workouts, Beachbody cannot be separate from your life. So once I heard that, I was like, that sounds cool. And I was like, I would like that, you know, but still super apprehensive. Well, I finally joined after doing a round of the 21 Day Fix because my coach actually asked me to share. She could share my results on her social media. And I put this piece in here because I think this is really important when it comes to like, if you have challengers or potential coaches, like basically showing them their like success, they can be successful before they really see that themselves. So because she posted it and I didn't post it, I was like way more comfortable with it. Does that make sense? Like she kind of pushed me out there a little bit without me even realizing she was doing it. And once I saw that, you know, that happened, I was like, okay, I feel a little bit more comfortable. So I started coaching, and for the first 2 years, I would consider myself a just Success Club earner. And that was always very important to me. I made that a goal no matter what. I was 100% a Success Club earner. And I think a lot of people go through that phase where they're like, that's what I would consider like level one of the business. You are trying to figure out your own personal journey, and you're trying to help people with their health and fitness along the way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, everybody has to go through that level one. It's just important to understand that everybody goes through that level one at different paces. And you can't compare yourself to somebody else on your team or in the network or anything of that nature. Because I personally had to go through that for a little bit longer than a lot of the girls on our team. And if I would have compared myself to them, which I did at times, and I had to catch myself, I would have never made it to where I am today. So level one is you are hitting Success Club and you're leading yourself. So that's like kind of the first thing that has to happen if you even want to consider building a business. You have to know how to lead yourself. And I had to learn that. I had to learn how to drink Shakeology and eat really well and figure out my mindset and work on the things that were going on up there. And once I was able to do that, I was able to lead other people through level one and then level two. And that's what level two is. Level two is kind of like going from, all right, I know how to do this for myself. I know how to help people with a challenge pack. So how do I help them actually transform their life to want to become a coach and build a team too? So the first 2 years of my business were just very much commission based. And I was just always trying to hit Success Club, always trying to hit Success Club. And while that was great, I wasn't really seeing a big picture shift. And I had this total just meltdown. In 2016, I moved to Florida and I couldn't see my family for the first time in like my whole life on a holiday. And I was just sick over it. Like, I was so disappointed. And I use that word because how many of you guys are like, man, it sucks so much more when our parents said I'm disappointed in you than like mad at you? Because disappointed is like, you could have done better, or like, it's in you and it's your fault. It's almost like it's on you. And I feel like I don't want that for people, but at the same time, like, you have to almost have that moment to get yourself moving. And that was that moment for me. I was like, okay, I have this business. I'm miserable in my job. I'm pissed off that I can't go home and see my family. I've been talking about wanting this dream for like 2 years and I'm not doing anything about it. And that was just a draw a line in the sand moment. And I know people say that all the time and it's so annoying because people used to say it to me and I'm like, what do you mean you drew a line in the sand and everything changed? Because it's not necessarily like that. And I'll get to that. But you do have to have a moment where you're willing to say, like, I will not look back. Because looking back is me looking back at that life that I was really disappointed in. And it almost has to like hurt a little bit and be like deep in the gut to really feel it. And I know everyone says like, have a why that makes you cry. And that's cheesy. But at the end of the day, like, it's got to be in your gut. And if it's making $100 and that's what you feel in your gut, then great. Go after that goal like it's nobody's business. Don't set a small goal because you're afraid of what it might feel like to not get there when you think you should be getting there, or to fail a couple of times along the way. So I wrote down on a piece of paper, I'm going to quit my bartending job on February 15th, which was my following birthday. So it was like November to February. I wouldn't necessarily say I was ready to do that when I did it. And I don't necessarily recommend that. But what I do recommend is sticking to your word. Like, if you say you're going to do something, do it and be willing to go through what you got to go through to get past that. Because while I wasn't necessarily ready, in my mind, I was. So I was ready. Does that make sense? Like, don't wait for everything out here to align. Just be confident in your ability that you're not going to give up on it. And that's literally all I had. I was just confident that no matter what came my way, I was going to figure it out. And I want to make this clear that like, this is me speaking on my story, and I want you to find ways to relate this to your story. This isn't like, well, I can't relate to her because that's not what I want, or I can't relate to that because I'm not in that situation. You need to figure out what your situation is and be that serious about it, is kind of what I'm getting at. So for about a year, I again I wasn't building a team, so I wasn't seeing any growth. And the reason I wasn't doing that was mindset. That's literally all it is. It's not like my Instagram grew by like 500,000 followers. I didn't just get sprinkled with special potion that now I just get it. You know, I didn't go to a seminar and just walk out of there and have 50 coaches. Like, it's annoying because it takes time, guys. And that's something that I want you to really take away from this. Like, this business doesn't happen overnight, and it's not supposed to. If it did, none of us would know what to do with it when we had it, right? Like, I wouldn't know what to do with like marriage if I got married on my second date. I would be freaking out and it would fail, right? Like, there's a reason you date and then you get engaged and then you get married, unless you guys are like on here and you're like, oh, we got married after like a week. That's really special, but that doesn't happen very often. You get my point. You have to go through this stuff to be ready for the level that you truly want to be at and the level that you want to achieve your true potential. So when you're PO'd because it's taking too long, you need to stop and ask yourself, why is it taking too long? What am I struggling with when it comes to my growth? What's my mindset telling me? Reflect on your conversations. Are you even having conversations? Are you inviting to the business? What does your social media look like? So when it feels like you're stuck, it's probably because there's something right there that you're avoiding, that you're not seeing, that you don't want to see, that you have to grow through. And it probably has nothing to do with the tactical things, like here's how to send a message and here's how to post and here's how to invite and follow up and do a getting started right call and bring a new coach on training. All that stuff is out there in this company, but there's a reason why. Like, Carl said this on the trip, and I was literally shook when he said, he was like, there's like 360,000 coaches, but like 18,000 people sold something that month at that point. And I was like, whoa, that means like, you know, I knew a lot of those people were just discount coaches, but all the tactical stuff is out there. It's the mental stuff that people want to run from. And that's what I was running from. Like, I was literally riddled with anxiety. But on the outside, everything was good. I was getting my workouts in. I was seeing transformation. I was eating really good. I was feeling really good. But you can't fake that kind of stuff, guys, when it comes to really, really impacting people, because our business is an exchange of energy. And that's important to remember. Like, when you're on the phone with somebody and you know they're smiling or not, like, it's like weird, but you can tell. Like, if you're talking to someone on the phone, you just know if they're smiling or not. And that's what I relate this business to. Like, we can all day send messages, post on our social media, be there, but if our energy isn't there, then like our actual brightest, sexiest, best selves are not behind that message, then it's not going to translate the way we're expecting it to, because we feel like everything's good, but it's not. So what I started doing once I got to the point where, I'm just going to be totally real with you guys, like, I was a mess. Like, I couldn't get out of bed a couple of days. And anxiety has been a part of me since, oh my gosh, like, before I don't even know. I literally can't remember my life without feeling anxious. When I was in school, I had like a lot of problems. I had to like get a therapist, and I couldn't go to school. Like, I was terrified to be there. It came back a lot, like in like high school and then college, but I had things like alcohol and drugs to suppress it and numb it. So those things then became a problem. And Beachbody was like, literally, it saved my life. Like, it literally saved my life in so many different ways. But I had to learn how to think again, because I was so used to suppressing my thoughts. And maybe it's not anxiety or alcohol or drugs or anything like that, but I guarantee you everybody on this call in some way is going to have to learn how to think again about something. You know, whether it's believing in yourself or worrying about people's opinions or fearing rejection or believing that you can actually do this or believing that you matter or worth. Like, I guarantee you there's something that we have to rewrite up here. So again, I would get so mad when people are like, work on your mindset. I'm like, okay, I'm happy. So why isn't anything changing? Right. Or just, you know, it's like we have to get really specific. So what I started focusing on was stories in my head. And just a little FYI, our brains are really tricky like this, and it's super annoying. They will attach, like your brain will literally be like, oh, you have this fear? Okay, let me go find this story out here in the world really quick and convince you of it because it backs up that fear. Does that make sense? Like if you have a fear, your brain will go find something and attach to it and be like, yeah, you're right. You couldn't do that because of XYZ. Yeah, you're right. You couldn't lead a team because you have experienced anxiety before and you would never be able to handle that. You would never be able to have X amount of dollars in your bank account, you know, because money is bad. Remember what it did to your parents. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So it's like it happens and you don't even realize it. And then you're just thinking it and you're thinking it and you're thinking it and you're thinking it until it becomes your reality. So specifically what I want you guys to take away from working on your mindset is identifying those stories, not just your limiting beliefs. That's just one part of it. You know, your limiting beliefs are just one level. The second level is what are the stories that you've convinced yourselves of because of the limiting beliefs that you have? And I don't really feel like this practice like ever goes away. You know, it's not like you just do that and then you're just free for life because every level is going to have a new devil. But the more you get conditioned to knowing what that feels like and knowing how to find it and knowing how to locate it in this craziness, and then realizing like, I have a choice. That doesn't have to be my thought. I can change that thought. I can change the way I think about that. That is the most powerful part of being alive, if you ask me. Like, I just think it's so cool that you can have a thought and then you can decide the meaning behind the thought. And I heard that from Brooke Castillo. She has a great podcast called the Life Coach School Podcast. She was like, everybody thinks thoughts, but it's totally your responsibility and your job to decide what that thought represents. So that was one of the first things that I did. I had to like literally stop worrying about everything else and focus on myself. And that's what this business at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You have to become like the best version of yourself. And that actually does take a lot of work and it takes some time. So you got to know that like your business is literally like, it's like an assignment from the universe, from your creator. It's literally like, hey, your business will grow when you go through XYZ. And I'll be like the first to say that it got harder before it got better. The anxiety got worse before it got better, you know? And that's just like, it's just kind of part of like looking yourself in the mirror and having that big talk with yourself. It's not easy to dig your skeletons out of the closet. It's just not. And that's a lot of the reason why a lot of people don't find their full potential in this. That's why I still haven't found my full potential. We all still have room to grow, but that's really what it comes down to. Another thing that I started to refocus on was just enjoying the process. Like we didn't become coaches to be stressed, right? To worry about what people are going to think of us, to worry about rejection and being told no. I didn't become a coach to hate my life. I became a coach to be enriched, for my life to be enriched, to become inspired. Like that girl that was sitting on my friend's couch with her ear like open, listening to those empowering and inspiring girls on that team call. I became a coach to be a part of that. to be inspiring and empowered. So if you ever find yourself starting to like sweat the small stuff, pull yourself back to that. Pull yourself back to what that feeling feels like. And then go send messages, and then go post on social media. Turn your message notifications off. Do not check your messages when you're in a funk. Just don't do it. It's not going to serve you, and it's not going to serve your people. The best thing I ever did was turn my message notifications off. I don't need, that was a text, sorry about that, but I don't need to know at 9:30 at night if someone's saying yes or not to a challenge pack order. And if you feel like that, you're feeling very scarce. That's a sign of feeling scarce. Like there's not enough people. There's not enough time. I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to be good enough. I got to get them signed up right now. And people can sense that too. Like have enough. Know that there is enough out there for you that you can turn it off and turn it on. That's just like sending that energy out that like you don't need to have it 24/7, 365. Okay. And the last thing I'll say on mindset is seek growth outside of Beachbody. So yes, like trips, Super Saturdays, Summit, cruises, so much fun. But again, like get outside of the bubble a little bit. Get outside of the bubble and go to Tony Robbins or find a little something different in your area and put yourself in a situation where you're not just growing for your Beachbody business, you're growing for your life, because your life is your business. And that was what I finally had to realize. Like, hey, you can't live this life over here and be struggling with anxiety and want these dreams and want all these things, but not be actually taking action towards them. And you can't be like suffering every day and stressed every day when you're trying to preach that you're living your best life. Like they just have to intertwine. Now, that doesn't mean people don't struggle. That doesn't mean I don't have a bad day. That doesn't mean I don't get in funks. That doesn't mean life's not hard and I don't face tough crap like you guys face. Everybody faces crap. Everybody faces pain. You cannot escape pain. You cannot escape suffering. There is literally no way to get out of life without that. The only thing you get to control is how you suffer. The first kind of suffering is what I would call a slow and painful death, not to get morbid. But you're just staying the same. You're stuck. You're disappointed. You could be doing better every day, but you're not. You're wishing for it and you're hoping for it and wondering why it's not coming. You're doing the same things over and over every day and you're feeling insane because of it. So that would be one type of suffering. The second kind of suffering is the pain that you feel when you move forward to those demons and you move forward towards those skeletons and you face your anxiety, your fears, or you finally, just do the hard things that are required to grow to the level that you want to grow. That's painful at times. There's some suffering that happens in that. That was my whole 2017 and 2018. Super hard. Still hard. I mean, every day is still hard. Like, I know Cassie would back me up on that and say that, like, it's hard. This business is not easy. We're not on these calls preaching that to you, but we're telling you that it's so much more fun and it's so much more worth it when you feel that pain and that suffering and that uncomfortable feeling, but you're actually going somewhere with it and you're getting to where you want to go. Like at the end of the day, it feels so worth it, but it never felt worth it to me to kind of just suffer through my day and feel stuck. So when this call is gone and it's like Friday and you're like, I want you to seriously stop and ask yourself, which kind of suffering or which kind of pain do I choose right now? Do I choose to stay stuck? Or do I choose to feel a little bit of uncomfortableness? I don't know if that's a word. To feel a little uncomfortable, but know that discomfort is going to get me closer to my vision. It's going to get me closer to my goal. That's the ultimate question every single day. And it's a tough question but it will move you forward. And that's, I feel like, when she asked me to like speak and just talk about like, what shifted, like what did I do? Like what was the difference? It was just being really aware of where my mind was and just being really willing to whatever was going on up there to like face it. Cause it's super hard to do that all the time. But then it becomes kind of like your normal. And that's what you want to get yourself to. You want to get yourself to a place where it's just normal to like recognize it, change it. Instead of recognize it, suffer from it. That's the difference. Along with that, I did change a couple other things that are a little bit more tactical that I will give you guys. But at the end of the day, it comes down to like really what's going on up here. Because if your mind is going to control your actions, and you don't really want to be taking action in this business if your mind isn't right. Because it might end up hurting you more than it's helping you. That doesn't mean you don't take action until you're like perfectly sunshine and rainbows and awesome, right? Like your mess is so your story, your mess is your message, but know that you have control over that. All right, so a couple things about like social media, and I'll just like blow through this stuff, like social media and like a team, and just what I did on the reg or what I do on the reg. I love having a form in my bio. I just feel like it's so helpful. People I feel like are super weirded out by like, what do I say to this person? Like, who is she? I don't like, how do I tell her I want to lose 50 pounds and I'm miserable? That's a very uncomfortable conversation, right? Like, how do I tell her I'm miserable in my job and I'm in like $500,000 of debt and I need a financial solution? Super uncomfortable. And they might not know how to start that conversation with you, right? Like to just say like, hey, help me. So I think a form like bridges that gap. And it also gives you the opportunity, especially if you're working this part-time and you're really short on time, make your questions like so in depth that you have the exact challenge pack you need to send them from that. And you can just send them an email and be like, here's what I recommend, da-da-da, 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 and go from there. And they're going to say yes or they're going to say no. If they're not ready, they're not ready. But you handle that in a very professional way and you're giving them the professional recommendation. Like figuring out what challenge pack someone needs or what solution they need, as I like to say, is literally like you're sitting in a doctor's office and you're telling them your symptoms so the doctor knows what to treat you with and what to give you as your medicine. Like that's what we do essentially. We're like, what are you struggling with? What are your symptoms, right? Like what do you need help with? So I don't know if there's anyone on here that's still in that place that's like, I don't know how to get the ball rolling in that conversation. Like I don't know how to like get them going to see what they need to then like make the challenge pack worth their while for them to see the value in it. And really it's just like ask the questions so you know what they're going through and you can literally, it's like you're providing the treatment for it. And then it's like that challenge pack is just irresistible. They're like, oh, well, it's going to help me with this, 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 and this. Then yes, I need that challenge pack. Rather than leading with buy the challenge pack because it'll XYZ. They have to see why it would be valuable for them. Other thing, please unfollow coaches. Okay. Stop following coaches in the network. What is that really doing for you? Like, I think I have nothing against other coaches. I think they're amazing. And I do go to pages sometimes and I just want to be like, hey, what's my girl up to? And I'll like, go check it out. Like, how's her life? But that's me doing that in a state because I just like want to see what she's doing, not like scrolling my Instagram and then I stop and read a post and I'm like, oh my God, she talked about coaching so well there. Like I could never talk about like that. Or I read their posts so much that I lose my voice in the process. And we don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want to ever feel like you're trying to speak like somebody else because you're not somebody else. That's going to just take away from the value that you have to add. That is truly one of the best things I've ever done was unfollowing coaches. I followed a ton of coaches. And I loved it. I thought it was inspiring me. It's not inspiration if you're comparing. So remember that. It's not inspiration if you're comparing. And if you are comparing a lot, then that's something that you need to address up here and really work on that every single day. Okay, so when it comes to a team, how many of you guys, like, what are you guys' where are people at, like, on this team? If you guys want to, like, put it in the chat box, what's your rank right now? Just put it out there. Emerald. Love it. Got some emeralds, emeralds, emeralds. Perfect. That's great. Because you guys are at a place where you're finding your tribe. I was an emerald at the end of 2017. So going into 2018, I literally had 0 coaches. I had a family account, but I was basically an emerald coach. Okay. So I remember what that felt like to be like, how do I build a team? She's telling me that I need a team. How do I build a team? Commit to a program, number 1, and get people to commit with you. I committed 1 bajillion% to 80-day obsession. And it is not necessarily what I would say I wanted to do, because no, I didn't want to go 3.5 months without drinking or having a cupcake or, like that stuff. But I was so dialed in with the girls that I was going with on that journey that we created this like unshakable bond and like belief in the programs and the products. And a lot of those girls became coaches. Not all of them, but a lot of them. They're still coaches. They stood the test of time because they believe in these programs and these products. And at the end of the day, like, I don't care what your vision is. If you don't believe in what we have to offer, it's going to be really hard to help somebody else believe in it too. Again, because this business is an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of belief. So that was like my number 1 thing. I was like, all right, it's going to help me grow, and I'm going to build really good relationships with people, and they're going to see incredible results to want to coach. Because how many of you guys on here wanted to coach because you saw incredible results? I mean, it's literally so simple, but we are like, let me say the perfect thing and let me like run an ad. And like that stuff's great, but don't forget the relationships that have to come from it and the belief. So I started there. Next thing I did was I wasn't afraid to just bring up the business. Like, it does take some time for people to finally be like, okay, because this is different. Like I talked about, I was totally against this for so long. So it's like, don't wait to just drop that little egg. Like, hey, have you ever thought about coaching? Or like, you're crushing your journey. Like, why aren't you just coaching with me? So chill. I used to literally sit and be like, hey, I really think you should, I really love coaching and I really think you should do it. It would take me like 25 minutes to write like a coach invite. And I was super terrified of it. And finally, when I was just like, I'm just going to ask this girl if she's interested and just take some of that pressure off of me and her. And then from there, my goal was always get them on the phone. That changed my business. And if you guys don't feel confident talking about the business, I know Cassidy would do that with you, I'm sure. Like a quick 30-minute phone call. And I just go, all right, tell me why you're on the phone with me, because you're at least interested enough to get on the phone with me. And then tell me what you're freaked out about. Because I know they're freaked out about something, because I was. And I'm honest about that. And then from there, I relax them and say, like, listen, you don't need to come into this thing tomorrow and read because there are so many like assumptions about this business, and your job is to literally bring them back down here and be like, listen, we help people get healthy and you can build your dream life from this, whatever that looks like for you. My goal is to help you become the best version of yourself possible, fulfill your full potential, and live your best life. It's not more complicated than that. You have the trainings, you have all the things, you have the resources. And I feel like when you just get on the phone with them like that, they're like, okay, she's not a weirdo. She's a real person. I get what I'm going into now. Like I get, explain a little bit what you're getting started, right? Process is on your team or in your trainings. Explain a little bit what the expectations are. Explain that they're here to set their own goals. And if they want to join you, great. If they don't, then they're not going to work. And that's okay if they don't want to join you. Remember that you have to put yourself in the position that you're interviewing them, because they should want to be joining your team, not the other way around. I used to get in on the phone with people and I feel like I had this like desperate voice because I was so afraid that they weren't going to want to coach, and I was so afraid that they were going to say no. And you just have to trust that, like, you can say the wrong thing to the right person. Melanie Mitro said that one time and I was like, you just have to know that, like, if they want to do it, they'll do it. You gave them the information. The moment you notice you're trying to twist their arm and get them to join you, you will regret it, because they probably won't work and you'll probably pour a lot of time into them, because you guys know that you got to be motivated by yourself to run your own personal business. So that was a huge game changer for me. Just trusting that you will find your people when you stop worrying about not finding your people, because that's not putting a good mindset out there. And basically with that, I'll end with this. Think about, like, I don't know if you guys played sports, but like, if you go into a game, I was a 3-time state championship basketball player. If we went into games thinking, we're going to play this game to not lose, you lose, right? Like, have you ever heard that like metaphor? Like, the people will be like, I feel like they were playing to not lose instead of playing to win. Like, playing to not lose is like worrying about all the things that could go wrong, worrying about all the people that could say no, worrying about all the shots that won't go through the hoop, and worrying about all the fouls that people might call against you, right? Instead of focusing on all the shots you're going to make, all the plays that are going to go right, all the stats that are going to get blown out of the water, all the times you stop them and keep them from scoring. Like, it's just this minor change in direction that can massively change your business. And I know you guys have probably heard that metaphor, like a plane can be off like 1 degree and they end up in like North Carolina instead of Jacksonville, Florida. And that's like what I would say is like one of those really small degrees is like, don't send an invite worrying about people saying no. Don't put a post out there worrying about rejection. Don't, get on a call with a coach worrying that they're not going to, want to coach. Just know that, like, you'll get there no matter what, and you're always going to win, because the only way to not win is when you send in that coach cancellation. And if you don't do that, then no matter what happens, like, you will eventually get there. So.
Woo, that was awesome. I'm like so excited to post a recording. I like took there were so many little nuggets, I feel like, in what you said. I'm like a big analogy and like little nuggets.
Yeah. Sorry if I analogied you guys too much, but like, that's kind of how my brain works.
Oh, they're used to it. I analogy all the time. Like,
that's how I like communicate the best.
Yeah, it makes more sense to me. Yeah. And I love that last one too, like about sports, because we do have a lot of athletes on our team. And I think that, it's not just the fear of like going into it like, oh, what if they reject me, or, oh, what if they say no, or whatever. But it's also, like you spoke about earlier, it's just that overall scarcity mindset, right. Even if you're going into it, like maybe not thinking they're going to say no, but worried about what if they don't say yes, like right. It's that whole scarcity mindset. And I think that was one of the biggest shifts in my business as well, was when I let go of that, because in the beginning I didn't have it. I was so new that I didn't have anything to compare to. I didn't have the fears and doubts because I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like going. And then
Right.
once I like got into it, it was like, oh, here's this
Yeah.
thing and this thing and that thing and like emerald and diamond and all these things. And that's when I started to like lose that belief and confidence in myself and started to get more of the, you know, what if I'm not doing it right? Or what if I should be doing what so-and-so is doing or whatever. And I think what really took me from, you know, emerald to elite in a year was that shift in the mindset and just focusing on, instead of that scarcity mindset, I wasn't worried about how it was going to happen, when it was going to happen, any of that. I just knew like so deep inside of me that it was going to happen.
Yep.
Like you're going to school, you go to school for 4 years. And do you think like, you know, every day you're not waking up going, oh my God, what if I fail this test? And what if I don't get my degree? You just like know it's going to happen and you're going to go through the hard things and you're just going to get there and you're going to get your degree no matter what. But you know, it takes 4 years to get there. And so remind yourself of that when you're in this business. I think, you know, it's the same thing. If you just focus on that, knowing you're going to do it no matter what, then you don't have to worry about all the other things. And I think that was like such a big takeaway because that was what flipped the switch in my business. And it's so easy to kind of get away from it at times without even realizing too. And I found myself back there multiple times. So it's just like a really good reminder.
Good.
Does anyone have any quick questions or anything?
Yeah, have me some questions, guys.
I love questions.
Don't be shy. Anybody? Nobody?
Nothing? Wow. I have one. What would be like your best piece of advice for, we have a lot of new coaches on this call.
Yeah. Okay. My best piece of advice for a brand new coach would be so like if you feel like you don't know something or you don't understand it or you're not quite where you want to be with it yet, that doesn't mean you're failing. Like just giving yourself like the grace in that. Like if you send an invite and then Cassidy says, let's do it maybe this way, right? Or if you put a post out there and you get feedback, it doesn't mean that you're failing. It just means that you're learning. And I think that's just really important because people want to just get it overnight. And it's important to know that like I went through a lot of just learning. And with that, be coachable. Like the last thing you want to do is not take that mentorship. Like be coachable. Like be willing to like get on the call with your coach and be like, what do I need to work on? Like that is all we want, like as leaders, is for you guys to want to be coached. Do you get what I'm saying? Like get on the call and be like, what do I need to work on? Or tell me the tough love. I want all the tough love. Like give me where I need to put focus and what I need to do to get better. And honestly, just being open to that, like being willing to be coached.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's huge. Just being coachable and being a sponge, you know, soaking it all up. And I always give my team like the analogy of riding a bike. So they've heard this a million times, but like you don't learn how to ride a bike by watching someone else do it or reading the manual 500 times. Like you learn by doing it and you're going to fall down, but you get back up and like you keep going. And it's the same thing with this business. And I fell down a million times and I'll continue to, but as long as you get back up and like learn how to do it better the next time, that's literally all it is. So, okay, cool. Well, I don't see any questions, so we will let you guys go. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys who were on live. So appreciate it. Love seeing your faces, and we will see you next week. So I'll post the recording. Thanks. Bye.